Maura Murray was born May 4th, 1982, in Hanson, Massachusetts, the fourth of five children in a large Irish Catholic family. To outsiders, Maura was a high-achieving student athlete with a shy smile and big dreams. She ran track and cross-country and excelled academically. She wanted to help people. Her eventual goal was to become a nurse. After high school, she was accepted into West Point, one of the most prestigious military academies in the country. But something shifted. After just a year, Maura transferred to UMass Amherst. Some said she didn't like the military structure. Others suggested personal problems drove the move. Whatever the reason, Maura didn't talk much about it. At UMass, she studied nursing. She had a long-distance boyfriend, Billy Roush, a West Point cadet stationed in Oklahoma. To those around her, she was quiet but driven. But privately, cracks were beginning to show. In late 2003, Maura was caught using a stolen credit card to order food. It was a small amount, under $100, and the charges were eventually dropped, but it was out of character. She also had a breakdown at her job at the campus security desk, where she received a phone call that left her distraught and nearly catatonic. Her supervisor had to walk her back to her dorm. Some friends said she was unraveling. Others believed she was simply under stress. But one thing was clear. Something was going on beneath the surface. Saturday, February 7th, 2004. Maura's father, Fred Murray, drove to Amherst to help her shop for a new car. They spent the day together, test-driving vehicles, grabbing dinner at the local brewery. That night, Maura borrowed her dad's new Toyota Corolla and went to a small dorm party. Around 3:30 a.m., she crashed the car into a guardrail on Route 9 in Hadley, Massachusetts. There were no serious injuries. The damage was minor, but the vehicle was towed. Police didn't administer a sobriety test. The situation was, by most accounts, downplayed. The next day, Sunday, Fred was reportedly more concerned about the insurance paperwork than Maura's well-being. She seemed apologetic, but not panicked. But by Monday, February 9th, things got strange. Maura emailed her professors, claiming there had been a death in her family. A lie. She packed a box with textbooks and her favorite stuffed animal. She printed out MapQuest directions to multiple locations in Vermont and New Hampshire. She withdrew nearly all her money, just under $300, and purchased alcohol, vodka, Bailey's, Kahlua, and boxed wine. By 4:30 p.m., she had packed up her Saturn sedan and left campus. She didn't tell a soul where she was going. 7:27 p.m. That night, a 911 call comes into the Grafton County Sheriff's Office. A black Saturn has crashed on a sharp curve on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, a rural area with spotty cell service and little traffic. The first witness is a local school bus driver, Butch Atwood. He sees the car and pulls over to help. He finds a young woman, Maura, shaken, cold, but not injured. He offers to call the police. She declines, claiming she already called AAA. But there's no signal in the area. That call never happened. Atwood goes home and calls 911 anyway. He watches from his house. Within 7 to 10 minutes, police arrive. But Maura is gone. Her car is still there, doors locked. Her backpack, the alcohol, and the printed directions are all inside. The airbag had deployed. There's a crack in the windshield, possibly from her head. But there's no blood, and crucially, no footprints. The snow around the scene is undisturbed. From the start, the investigation had problems. The initial assumption that Maura was intoxicated, panicked, and fled into the woods to avoid legal trouble. But the temperature was in the low 20s. She wasn't dressed for a night in the elements, and no trace of her, no scent, no footprints, no torn clothing was ever found. Authorities searched the surrounding woods, riverbanks, and abandoned buildings. Helicopters flew overhead. Cadaver dogs scoured the scene. Nothing. Over time, troubling signs emerged. Police failed to preserve the car as a crime scene. The family wasn't notified for almost 24 hours. Items may have been mishandled or removed from the car. Logs of Maura's cell phone pings were inconsistent. Fred Murray became increasingly vocal, criticizing the investigation as careless, even corrupt. From the very beginning, the theories flooded in, from law enforcement, family, and internet sleuths. Theory number 1. She ran away. Some say Maura planned to escape, maybe to start over in Canada or live off the grid. She had taken cash, alcohol, and personal items, but she didn't take warm clothes or her cell phone charger, and she didn't tell a soul where she was going. Theory number 2. She was picked up or abducted. Maybe someone saw the crash and offered her a ride, a stranger, or someone she knew. With the car packed and her phone off, was she lured into trusting the wrong person? Theory number 3. Suicide. Others believe she was overwhelmed by school, legal trouble, personal stress, and took her own life. But if so, where was the body? Police and dogs searched the area for days. Nothing was ever found. Theory number 4. An accident gone wrong. Maybe Maura tried to flee the scene and succumbed to the elements. But that night was freezing. Yet no footprints, blood, or clothing were ever discovered in the snow. Each theory has holes. Each answer leads to more questions. The Maura Murray case was one of the first internet-driven mysteries. It became the subject of forums, blogs, YouTube channels, Reddit AMAs, and even its own podcasts. The true crime community became obsessed. But that attention had a cost. Amateur sleuths harassed local residents. Wild theories implicated innocent people. Theories veered into conspiracy. The family had to deal not just with loss, but with the spectacle. Still, some believe the crowdsourced energy helped. Anonymous tips, new leads, satellite analysis, all came from online sources. The line between justice and obsession blurred. Some investigators believe this massive attention helped. Others think it muddied the waters with noise and misinformation. Police were criticized for mishandling the early investigation. Some records were delayed or incomplete. Leads weren't followed thoroughly. Rumors even suggested a nearby house was suspicious, with cadaver dogs alerting in the basement. Years later, the property was excavated. Nothing was found. Maura's family, especially her father Fred, never stopped pushing. He gave interviews, held vigils, and begged authorities to keep digging. Despite all this effort, no solid evidence has ever emerged. As of 2025, it's been over 21 years since Maura Murray vanished. The FBI has reclassified her case as a suspicious disappearance. Her DNA is in CODIS. Her missing persons file remains active. Fred Murray, now in his 80s, still believes someone knows what happened, and he's not giving up. The case has been featured in books, documentaries, and television shows, but the most haunting thing remains the silence. How can someone disappear in under 10 minutes without a trace? Maura Murray didn't just disappear. She left behind a trail of questions, a breadcrumb path that vanishes before it can be followed, a case too strange to forget, too cold to solve, and too personal for her family to let go. If you believe someone knows something, or if you have a theory, share it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because sometimes it only takes one voice to finally uncover the truth.